Hello everyone and welcome to another SEA Games group stage replay. This time gonna be a TVP. So let's introduce our players first and foremost here on the bottom right. We are gonna have the red Protoss, that is Kun, aka Malaysia's Ranger. And in the meantime, on the top left, his opponent, playing on that blue Terran, is gonna be Thailand's Chantorn or KomCorx. Some media reports that KomCorx or KomCorx. Let's just go with what Wikipedia has to say. We are going to be on Ephemeron in this BO3. And one thing I've noticed is many of these guys really picking up like Ephemeron and Triton in the group stage. I think I've seen them a lot more than the other maps. It really goes to show familiarity is what breeds safety. And at the same time, these guys know how to play these maps more so, as this is pretty much the 2-season ladder maps that they have been able to play on in the first place. So a few things about Chantorn here, or KomCorx. He is one of those pop stars basically. He does play a lot in the local scene, as I've noticed from the Africa TV series, I believe. And it really goes to show, sometimes when you're making a team for pretty much this international as well as representing your country, there are these scenes that with a proper local scene behind it, you really get one of the guys. Now sure, they really haven't been competing as much internationally, but they have shown their worth in the local scene, able to make it potentially to tryouts. And you sometimes need to start from the very beginning, from the bottom, from the grassroots, to get into a higher tier of competition. You can see that here too in the Philippines. You'd say, sure, you have Ender, who is more or less your number one. But on the other side, Nux has been always a contender. He does play international as well. But at the same time, you can really see that these guys, the local scenes, are the ones who are able to build these players in the first place, try to get them ready. In the meantime, you think about Singapore, where you could say their top players are more or less at an equal level compared to some of the other SEA countries. But I digress, it is different per country. It has its own strengths and weaknesses. And the SEA Games was able to show that in the first place, able to show what every scene has to offer in the region. So anyway, Natural gonna be built here and now by Ranger. In the meantime, here comes KomCorx, sending in that scouting Reaper. But at the same time, the Adept already in position, giving chase. Can it actually lead to the kill in this scenario? Gonna be warping on there, and then the Reaper trying to get on out. So we'll be able to survive. But it seems like we're not gonna get much vision here for KomCorx. Instead, there's a Toasted Pylon with that one as well. In the meantime, oh, the probe! Looking for the kill onto the SCVs, really slowing things down. And that's one thing you can do against Terran, even though they have tankier workers. You can try to stop from them and their channel. There you go, the Adept gonna get that takedown onto one SCV already. But we do see the supply depots on up. And the probe knows, oh, this is gonna be a one-way trip here. And now the Adept gonna be covered with that retreat, as it's time for the Hellion to come on out. The Adept looking for that takedown onto this one, teleporting on away. And in the meantime, we aren't able to talk about this as much, but we do see Ranger going for that proxy Stargate into the Oracle opening. Now the problem here and now for Chantorn or KomCorx, doesn't have much at the air in the first place, didn't go for any Marines, will be going into the quadruple Hellion opening to try and deal with the mineral line. And at the same time, no engineering bay whatsoever. So this is going to be do or die time here and now for Ranger. If this attack works, he's gonna get a lot out of it. In the meantime, oh, there you go, pull already from KomCorx, noticing pretty much the green beam going for the demise. And at the same time, here we go with the attack, but only 2 workers do fall. There's a lot of mining time though, being pulled away. And then here we go though, Mule now the target, SCV goes down. It's a field day here for the Oracle till it runs out of energy. Still though, not out of the woods as of yet, as we do have more gateways being produced. And oh, it is gonna be Banshee Cloak here and now from KomCorx. Now, this is a hot contesting point for me. I personally am not a fan of Banshee Cloak. It feels like it is pretty easily scouted, as well as the fact that you might want to get a second upgrade alongside it. And now the Oracle seeing that Banshee out in the field. One Marine going for the anti-air, but it's an easy target here and now with that micro. And the worker counts. You can see that Ranger heavily ahead in this scenario. 1.5 times in that worker. So KomCorx has to put in some work to try and turn things around. Shield Battered Dome being built in, instead Stalkers are there as well. And the shield battery gonna be helping these stalkers fulfill the anti-air role. No need to go for that forge as of yet, since he doesn't have the tech anyway. The shield batteries instead gonna be keeping things up, but the cloak might be a big deal. So basically now in this scenario, it's gonna be all about how much the stars can tank for the probes, and at the same time the micro here. And now for our Terran player, oh, good revelation though from the Oracle. That's one way to go about it. Keep one Oracle at the base, use the energy to scout out that Banshee. And think about the Banshee, they can't actually shoot in the air as well, so there you go. Attack already stopped. And I feel like you can do a little more in terms of those targets opening. Still, you can. It's good against Protoss, sure. It does deal with the heavy stalker base composition, as well as fulfill damage against the Immortal, compared to trying to go BC and pretty much blink micro all the way to oblivion. But I digress, you know, there's bio, there's mech, you can do either. And speaking of that one, we are going to see a little bit of the bio here, and now 3 barracks being built in this sim city that we call the Terran main base. Stimpak gonna be there as well. In the meantime, we are gonna get the Robo Bay with the Twilight Council. So 2 tiers of tech being opened by this point in time. Because this is Ranger feeling free, feeling frisky, gonna go for the 3rd pretty safely. Because he knows he's ahead in that mineral count, he knows he's ahead in that gas, getting more and more resources along the way. And one more thing is, KomCorx has not really scouted out that Proxy's target as of yet. Here comes the Phoenix though, as well the Oracles. And at the same time, Hellions down below, getting a little bit of information. But this is a scary squadron that Ranger can utilize to pretty much menace the middle lines along the way. Still though, Blaze-Stalker coming online, Stimpak gonna be here, and now for our Blue Terran. And we do see the Engineering Bay here, and now for KomCorx in the first place, but still no missile turrets on his mineral lines. Yeah. Protoss versus Terran, there is so many things you can go about it. It really depends on what you see from your opponents. And there you go. With the Robo Bay gonna be going into that Colossus tech, extended thermal lance, gonna be allowing the Giraffes to do more damage against the infantry. You can also go for the Disruptor if you are gonna be facing off potentially against mech, or you can go heavy into the Immortals. And the Disruptor versus Colossus debate basically it boils down to this. If you want to get a little more safer on that DPS as the Adept really dies, you can go for the Colossus. You just go for the attack move, comes with your army. But if you're either really feeling with the micro or in a desperate spot, go for that Disruptor. So the Disruptor, it takes a lot shorter to get them warped in, and the Purification Nova is just such a big damage dealer. But anyway, it seems like Ranger has taken a reprieve from this game. Gonna be going into a 4 base scenario, but not really too ahead in that army count. Workers though really is the name of the game here for the Protoss. And the Colossus will be able to help out in those AoE antics. Still though, the Marine Squadron out in the open. And there you go, shooting up in the air. Seems like the scouting formation will get spotted. And 2 Oracles go down already. Phoenix though still into the fray. Gonna be flying on out. Pretty tanky for what they are. And the Cyclone now finally spotting out that Proxy Stargate, but it has already done its job. Ranger abandoning that Stargate, going into a ground-based tech instead. And a lot of upgrades coming online here and now for both of our players. +1, gonna be putting in work for Chansorn, but Ranger already ready with his own +1, going for the +2 in the attack. And overall, it really is gonna be how many upgrades are gonna be fulfilling their roles. Colossus tech, very useful. You want to get those charge slots to come closer and closer to those zealots, prevent too much of the Star Step action. In the meantime, let's look at the units. It's 28 Marines, the 10 Stalkers, as well as a few Sentries, and the Immortal and the Colossus. So not bad here for both sides. It seems pretty even on that front. KomCorx though a little ahead with what he has, but we'll see how this is gonna pan out, as both sides now looking for potential engagements. On the right, we see our Terran. On the left, we see our Protoss. A good spot there, and then we will get that scouts on out. Probes gonna get spotted along the way, transitioning. Guard the shield, blink forward to try and get the snipe, and does get that 1 minute back along the way. Force fields right now, putting Marauders on the other side. There's still a lot of DPS here for both, but overall Ranger able to find the fulcrum to go for that push. And those force fields as well, keeping the Marauders away. That is going to be a type disadvantage there, and then here we go with the drops. That's going to be a Cyclone getting a lock on in, and Ranger right now blinking forward yet again, knowing he has the advantage. And here comes the Sentries, here come the Colossi, and this is going to be a reckoning for our poor Terran, because here comes the Protoss Deadball, and Ranger just cleaning that fight up. In terms of numbers, man, in terms of numbers, you would think that KomCorx still had something in the bag, but it really is that's AoE damage as well as finding the priority. Getting that Stalker to blink forward, get that planet back is a big thing. No way to get on out. And now here comes the death ball yet again. SCVs are not pulled. Grabbed on beam onto one of the Marauders. One does go down. And it seems like we're not going to get much cloaking here. And now we saw Dark Shrine in production. But overall, this is going to be a production for the Protoss to take the W here and now. GG is called and Ranger will take that win. Solid effort there from Ranger. And he takes that first one here on Ephemeron. I'll see you guys in the next one for game number 2.